Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for another weekly What I Watched. It's getting to be less and less, it's a disgrace, so let's just get kicked on with what I watched this past week. I'm going to try something a little different each week now with doing my main reviews on main movies and just very quickly going over anything else I watched. So the main movies I'll probably be talking about this episode is Shang-Chi, Escape Room Tournament of Champions and Malignant. Okay, so the first movie that we watched this week was, right, this isn't a movie, it's Count Me In. This is currently on Netflix and it's a documentary, quelle surprise. It's a musical documentary about drummers. I'm a big rock fan myself. It covers an awful lot of rock bands. We have Foo Fighters, my favourite Queen, we have The Darkness, they talk about The Who, The Beatles, Rolling Stones. There is an awful lot of bands covered in this documentary and it's basically speaking to drummers and what it means to them and how they started, and it's a really interesting watch if you're into the music. I'm into pretty much most of the music it was going through, so it was really interesting to me. 3.5 out of 5 I give that one, but it's one really if you're interested in music, probably mainly rock music as well. They do cover when it got into the 80s and the drums became a thing that was done on machines. It actually covers the machine and what was used for, like a good example is the one, can't remember who sings it, don't you want me, you know that one. That was don't you want me baby, it's not the same song. Don't you want me, oh. Side note, just ignore me. Right, so yeah, Count Me In, enjoyed it, would recommend. On the 9th, I watched another documentary, The Woman and the Murderer. This is French, it's currently on Netflix, and it follows a woman trying to track down a serial killer, basically. This documentary traces the capture of serial killer Guy George through the tireless work of two women, a police chief and a victim's mother. It's okay, like I say, I'm really interested in the subject matter. I'm a sick puppy, as they say. I like serial killer documentaries. This isn't one of the better ones. It's interesting if you have an interest in this sort of thing. I only gave this, I think, a 2.5. Yeah, a 2.5 out of 5. So I'd say if it's your cup of tea, watch it. If you only want to watch the creme de la creme of this kind of thing, then probably you can miss that one. Okay, so on the 11th, we took ourselves to the cinema to see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, I didn't have much interest in seeing this, I will be honest with you. I'm not going to talk for a long time because I did a come with us to see this one. I don't do it for all of my movies, but I do try now and again to take you with me and give you my thoughts immediately when I come out of the cinema. So I will cover most of what I think there, but I will say I love this. My son loved this, he's 10. My husband didn't like this at all. He didn't feel it worked, and I thought it was so refreshingly different from the other Marvel movies we have. Now, I generally do enjoy pretty much most Marvel movies. Not such a fan of DC, other than the Joker, which I thought was incredible. But this, really refreshing, really different, visually stunning, really like the characters. Awkwafina, who plays Katie in this, was just my favourite character by far. Is her name Nora Lum? Awkwafina is like a stage name she has, as she has a music career also. So yeah, I would thoroughly recommend this. I won't talk any more about it. Check out my review of it, which will be going up before this one. And on the same evening, I watched this on, I believe, Amazon Prime. This is a Norwegian movie called The Tunnel. I was interested in this from the point of view of it being a true story. This is set, there's a disaster inside a tunnel that goes through the mountains in Norway. What does it say? When a truck crashes inside a tunnel, people on their way home for Christmas are brutally trapped in a deadly fire. With a blizzard raging outside and the first responders struggling to get to the accident, it's every man for himself. So it is what it says. It's not Daylight with Sylvester Stallone. It's not that action filled. This is true. They do stick to the true story. It isn't action-packed, fast-moving, but it's a really nice character study of people. I enjoyed it. It was really well acted. I did care about the characters involved, although invariably there will be a character doing something really idiotic that angers me, and I'm like, leave them there, just run. And it brings out obviously the worst side of my personality. It's like, I'm off. Leave them there whinging and complaining and just go. You know, the people that's like, no, I don't want to, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, stay there, I'm off. So yeah, but I would recommend. I thought it was a good movie. So that's The Tunnel. Obviously subtitled. Okay, so finally this week, I've been wanting to see this movie for ages. It's so divisive with a lot of people loving and hating. I haven't watched many reviews on this as I didn't want to ruin it for myself, as I did know I wanted to watch it. Malignant. So what attracted me to this is obviously the name James Wan, with him being responsible for Saw, which is one of my all-time favourites. The synopsis of this says, a new vision of terror. Madison is paralysed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers. I can't go into 100% what I felt worked and didn't without spoiling, so I won't. So the acting in this is all fine. There are bits which I felt were a bit ropey. Special effects in this are excellent. The lead actress I found in places a bit stilted. I just find the concept behind this movie and what was going on ridiculous. There are people that are loving this and saying it's one of the best horrors of the year, and it is really working for some people. Now, what's going on is something that I clocked pretty early on what was going to be the case, but I didn't expect to be shown a physical representation of what had happened, and that physical representation, if you've seen it you'll know what I mean, completely took me out of it because it was so comical and so stupid. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this. If they had have stuck with a more psychological viewpoint, I'm trying really hard not to spoil this, if they had have stuck with the idea of what was happening and how a person can be affected internally by something, rather than trying to show us an external representation of what we're actually talking about. You know, we're not stupid. We don't need to see it to understand. But seeing what it was that was going on ruined it for me, and it made it really funny. Now, if this had have been done in the style of Evil Dead, it would have worked. It would have been really funny. But this was done really straight. I was expecting to go into this to watch something really, really creepy. And there were aspects of movement in this by a particular person that was creepy, which I can't give away again. I'm sorry this is so vague, folks. I don't like to spoil them for you. But there is a person in this and their movements are really creepy, but that in itself is all that I could take from this that creeped me out. I found it amusing. I found it funny. It didn't work for me on the level that it was meant to. I gave it, I think, a 2 out of 5. So disappointing for me. This is a divisive one. I know some people love it and other people don't. So again, I suppose it's very much down to what kind of horror you enjoy. And I'm more a fan of the psychological. If you're going to give me brutal, I want it to be on the level of Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Saw, or I want to be shocked. I don't want you to give me a halfway house of something that's meant to scare me and then make me laugh. It doesn't work for me. I know that probably is, what do they call it, a hot tech nowadays. So finally, Escape Room Tournament of Champions. So this is the follow-up to obviously Escape Room, which I thought was okay. I didn't think it was anything special. We follow 2 people in this movie that survived the first movie. All of the other people in this are people that have survived their games in their escape rooms. So hence Tournament of Champions. I don't think that's giving anything away. It says here, winning was just the beginning. 6 people unwittingly find themselves locked in another series of escape rooms, slowly uncovering what they have in common to survive as they discover all the games that they've played before. So, I didn't really like this. It passed an hour and a half. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. The acting was all fine. Any effects that were there were all fine. There were little aspects. The first game, I believe, that's played, which has lasers in, which I won't say any more to spoil it. That one I quite enjoyed. I like when you have to think about how you're going to escape, have to work things out. I would love... Now, I know I watched Florentina Viconti's review for something recently, or was it on the live stream with Cinema Squad? She said she really would not want to do an escape room. I'm the complete opposite. I would love to do an escape room and I've never done one. I do have to do one at some stage in my life. I just, there's not enough people around that would want to do one too to get a group together. People are like, no, I'm not doing that. So at some stage I want to do an escape room. It will happen sometime. So yeah, I would say this is very, very brutally average. I would say the first one's better and the first one is just okay. I would say only watch this if it's something that you love, if it's a subject matter that you love, if you particularly like an actor or actress in this. I like to play the game of, can we pick the order in which these people are going to die off? And generally I get it right every time. I was really annoyed, but because I had one person said this person's going to go first 100%, and then someone else went, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I was really disappointed in myself. But then, and this isn't giving anything away, a series of events happened that meant the person that we thought had died actually didn't, and the person that I said would go first did. So we were back on track, so happy days. So yeah, Escape Room Tournament of Champions. The reviews had it spot on. They said it wasn't anything special. Don't rush to watch it. It's okay. Check it out if you get the time. So let me just stop the old screen record. This week I have been also watching Ted Lasso as it releases, which I'm loving. Although the character of Nate is beginning to grind my gears now, he's getting a bit too big for his boots. Ted Lasso, if you don't know, is the story of an American football coach called Ted Lasso being brought over to the UK to coach a rather crap football team that he is wanting to take to greatness. Now, I don't like football. We all know I don't like football. This is a really enjoyable show. Anyone I know that's watched it has loved it, even people that don't like football. So if you haven't yet checked out Ted Lasso, they have released about maybe 7 episodes into the second season. So the first season is fully available to stream and watch. Second season, they're releasing obviously one a week, and it's like, I usually keep things and watch them all at once, but this I'm watching week by week. I'm also watching Chapelwaite as it's released week by week with Adrian Brody, one of my favourite actors. This, and why it did not occur to me, I have no idea. This is called Chapelwaite. It's actually based on Salem's Lot. Now, I read the Gumph and it said, this is adapted from a short story of Stephen King's called Jerusalem's Lot. Why on earth did it not occur to me that that meant Salem's Lot, Jerusalem's? I knew that, but it didn't put it together because it was called Chapelwaite. Chapelwaite's the name of the home. And I just feel so stupid for not actually realising. So now, not knowing whatsoever what was going to happen in Chapelwaite and how it was going to be horror, now I know, because obviously Salem's Lot, everyone knows that. Oh, I know what else I've been watching. The second series of Into the Night has been released on Netflix. This is the one about, if you haven't seen it, the first season's fully available, second season has just started. It is, I'm struggling to say what it is it French? Right, it's basically you've got German, Spanish and French and English spoken in this because people are from different areas. It is following people trying to escape something that has happened in the world. I'm going to say, because I can't remember how far into. Basically, these people may be amongst the last people alive in the world because something has happened that is killing people off, and it's something that you cannot escape, but they are doing their damnedest and they're escaping in really clever ways, which I won't say because I don't want to give away what the killer thing is. But I'm midway through the second season, probably just over. I don't have much more to watch. Really interesting characters, really layered characters, really interesting relationships, fantastic acting, very different characters. Everyone brings something very different to the table in this, and I really enjoy it. So I would thoroughly recommend Into the Night if you have yet to see it. I think that is all I've been watching this week. I've been trying to catch up on YouTube, which is difficult because there's just so many people. Just also a little plug, if you've got this far, I will be doing a live stream. This is madness. I haven't live streamed in over 2 years, and I did one a few weeks ago. I'm going to be doing one on Sunday night on Geek Legion of Doom's channel, Leo. There's a few people confirmed. I probably will, when I get permission from Leo, reshare his video on my channel so you can see more information. It's a stream called Tournament of Champions, and we're going to be putting off against each other different movie characters. So we have Terminator, we have Rambo, we have, like big horror characters, like I think Jason Voorhees is in there, Michael Myers, people you maybe wouldn't expect to see in there also. There's a good mix of movie characters, and we're going to be facing them off against one another. We're going to be looking at comments coming in from anyone viewing to see if they can sway us one way or another, put their opinion in there, and we're going to be left with one standing champion. So That's what's going to be happening on Sunday the 19th, and it's going out at 7 p.m. UK time. So if you're in the US, that's going to be pretty early on a Sunday, but you can always watch it afterwards if you can't be there at the time. But it would be awesome to see some of you there in the comments. So that's it for this week, I think. I shall be back again as normal next week with another What I've Watched. Let me know your thoughts. I would be really interested to see anyone's thoughts below on Malignant. What did you think of it? Did you find it frightening, funny? Let me know below. I'd be really interested to read your thoughts. And thanks for watching, guys. Over and out from Lisa Lives.